Now imagine the year is 1900. Right around the turn of the century, you live in a remote town out in the middle of the dry, arid, high desert where it rains less than 14 inches per year and temperatures soar past 100 degrees. But in your kitchen, you have a cold box filled with ice that keeps your food nice, fresh, and frozen. But how'd you get that ice? Well, what I could do is slowly tease at the answer through this whole video, making you wait all the way till the end to finally give you the information you want to know. Or I could just tell you that right over there's a cave filled with ice that they used to mine and haul to town. What? That's not how you're supposed to do YouTube? Oh well. Now let me explain to you the two things that just happened here. Number one, you wanted to know the answer to something and I gave it to you right away. That right there deserves a like. Number two, it took you 30 seconds to get that answer, which counts as a view in my analytics. So now that we both got what we want, if that answer is all you were looking for, you can go on to watch another video. May I suggest this one that conveniently popped up in the corner right here. But if you want to see the cave where they mine the ice, stick around because we're about to go inside of it. So this is the entrance to the Arnold Ice Cave. We're about 12-ish miles to the south of Bend out in the high desert. And the Arnold Ice Cave is an old lava tube that collapsed and left an opening right here. Now, thanks to the geology of this area, a lot of cold air settles in this region of the high desert. And the cold air sinks into that cave and stays there. Meaning that when ice forms in the cave in the wintertime, it stays there as the rest of the desert warms up for the summer. Now the amount of ice in the cave and the level it's at varies quite a bit, and there's quite a bit of debate about why. Some people say the level of ice in the cave is rising since they stopped actively mining the ice out and it's slowly building back up to fill the cave. While others say that thanks to global warming, the level of ice is actually dropping in the cave. I don't know which one or if either of those is true. But either way, this is the entrance to the cave. So let's head inside. A sign used to be here. It doesn't say anything. Now going down to the cave, you'll find stuff like this piece of wood here that's an old part of a stairwell. This wood's well over 100 years old. And back in the days when they mined this, they had stairs going in and out to obviously make it easier to haul the ice out. This is a steep entrance. These rocks are just huge. Well, temperature is definitely dropping rapidly. So that's our last bit of daylight for a while. You can see this huge collapse of rock here and a little opening at the top. That's our only exit. Now, fun fact about caves, all these rocks on the floor, they came from the ceiling. So that's nice to know. All right, we're down in the lower level of it now, and the ground looks like sand and mud, but it is just frozen solid. You can see some of the frozen water down here along the edge. This is water that came down from the opening and ran down in rain and snow melt, and then is frozen in the low spots. But most of the ice does not get in this cave through the entrance. Most of it actually comes through the ceiling. So what happens in these lava tube caves like this is up above us, however many feet above us it is the sandy desert floor. And as you can imagine, water runs right through sand. So when it does rain out there, and more importantly when it snows and the snow melts, that water runs down through the sand and through all these cracks and crevices you can see in the roof of this lava tube cave. And then as it comes into the cave, it drips down off the ceiling, making those columns or stalagmites of ice. I can't remember which one's floor, which one's ceiling, but that's what it does come into the cave. And if we could get into this cave far enough, we can see those. And if we can't, I'll just put some pictures of them there instead. But as you can also probably imagine, water running down into those cracks, then freezing and expanding, and then thawing and contracting, doesn't do much for the stability of the cave, since it's constantly working those crevices apart, and that's why you get collapses like this. You can actually see up there that white, I don't know if it's glistening in the light of the camera or not, but it is in person. That's water that filters through the sand of the desert floor and comes down through all these cracks and into the cave. So if you see all these cool shapes right here that look like shark's teeth coming down out of the walls, what creates this is centuries and centuries of that water dripping down through the cracks of the cave and carrying that sand with it and depositing it over the lava rock as it drips off. And it just makes this cool, super cool pattern here. You can actually see up here, it's this frozen sand dripping down into the cave. Got another big collapse here. See if we can get past this. All right, well, I think this is as far as we go, because I don't want to shimmy under that rock or try to go over it right there, but we did not make it to the ice plug. So since I'm too much of a chicken to go any farther by myself, here's some images I found on the internet of the old walkway they had down in the bottom. And here's where it ended at the wall of ice that they would carve into big blocks and then haul out on a wooden chute like this back up to the surface and take back into town. Well, looking down that, it looks like it might open up a little bit, but there's just more collapse on the other side of it. So since I'm by myself today, since I couldn't get anyone to come with me because they all have like jobs and stuff, I'm gonna backwards shimmy my way out of here and head back up for the surface. Someone drew an arrow on how to get out. That's comforting. All right, turned around, get back over this collapse. You wouldn't want to knock something like that loose since it's holding all that up. So this is a cave where you gotta be careful not to like bump things. You want to see something super creepy? While we're in this collapsed section of cave, if I turn off that light and I turn off your light, that's what it looks like in here. Fun, isn't it? Let's turn some light back on. Okay, so I know I called this an ice cave, and I know that if you want to get all technical about the geology of it, an ice cave is a cave made of ice, not a cave that has ice in it. But I'd also like you to know that when it comes to being technically correct about things, I'm not too worried about that. Especially since its name is literally the Arnold Ice Cave. So, ice, cave, ice cave. What's cool is just look in this section how like perfectly round and smooth the walls are. And then over there, it's just that jagged collapse. Check out this perfectly domed roof and that one rock sticking down right in the center of it. It's crazy. You can see down here a couple places where people have built campfires and have little fire pits set up in the cave, and you can see charred wood down here kind of in the frozen section, and that is not cool. Don't do that. This cave is also a bat habitat, and this is where the bats come to hibernate for the wintertime while it's frozen and cold outside and there's no insects for them to eat. And so actually for the winter months, this cave is closed to exploring. You're not supposed to be down here. So building campfires and smoking out the cave that the bats need to hibernate in is a super not cool thing to do. So if you're doing that, stop it. All right, we made it back to the base of the collapse, and now we got to climb up that collapsed section of rock to get out of here through that little hole at the top. Fun. It's really fun to do it one-handed too. You definitely don't want to try to knock any of these rocks down or loose, because one of these rocks might be holding up the rest of those rocks up there. So that's cool. The other thing you gotta be careful of is if you see a damp spot that you're walking around, look how steep that is. Like, you don't want to fall to the bottom of that, but if you see a damp spot like this, it might be frozen ground or ice, so make sure you've got something solid to step on. Look at this thing. Slid all the way down from the entrance like a torpedo. You wouldn't want that hitting you. Okay, we're getting close to the top, and one thing I didn't realize on the way down, this giant rock right here has landed on part of the old wooden platform that the old stairwell from the turn of the century used to go down. So we'll go around that because that's 100-something-year-old wood. It's got this giant boulder sitting on the edge of it, ready to tumble down into the bottom there. That's not sketchy at all. And then right behind that, look at this even bigger one that's got just the tiniest little bit of fingertip holding it from tumbling into the cave as well. So, if you're wondering why this cave isn't really a tourist attraction or a well-known thing for people to go into like some of the others around here, maybe stuff like that is why. Like I said, all the rocks you see here on the floor came from the ceiling. The joys of caves. Okay. Daylight, finally. Let's hike back up out of the lava tube here and go see if my truck's still there. I forgot the keys in it. Also, now that I'm out of the cave, it's really, really hot and I'm sweating like crazy in this sweater. It's freezing temperatures down there and an 80-degree day out here. Yep, still here. Probably the only tow truck out there with the rooftop tent on it. Yep, wide open. Dumbass. All right, well, now that I got rid of that sweatshirt, I'm gonna send my wife a text to let her know I made it out in one piece and head back towards civilization. If you like this kind of stuff and want to see some more of it, there's a bunch more caves and stuff like this around here. Let me know, and while you're at it, I really do think I deserve a like on this video for giving you the answer at the beginning instead of making you wait till the end. So if you like that too, let me know. But either way, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.